awesome.
Hopefully come next year too.
So when did you start camp? Like, what's your earliest memory of camp or like being at camp?
It's so funny that you say that, because like when Todd was on the pod, he's like talking about how I used to be in the house when I was like probably 2 or 3, and I'd get to do swimming lessons with him every day.
Yeah.
That's like literally the only vivid memory I have of camp. He's like, he'll probably never remember this, but I'm like, that's like the only vivid memory I have is like a little kid there was sitting in the house like, when do I get to see Todd? It's like so excited, get like all fired up in the house, and just like I'd run right out, like jump in his arms every time for swim lessons.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool when you're saying that. I was like, no, you're totally wrong about that.
Yeah,
literally the only memory I really have as a little guy.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So made an impact. So what was it like? Because I think people want to know, like when I talk to any Cowles or like anyone in the scoop, like people want to know, like, what's it like behind the scenes? So like, who's in your tribe growing up? Like, who would we know of like campers who are your age?
Do you remember? Not many of them lasted that long. I think the longest lasting was maybe like Karen Moss. I don't know if you remember Karen Moss.
Yeah, I remember Karen Moss.
And then I also had like Sam Adler. He didn't become a counselor, but he went 6 weeks with me every single year. We were good friends in school and camp.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think. And there's like Tommy. There's a bunch of Medfield kids that I grew up with there. It was like Tommy Terracano and like
Harry
yeah, those were a big Medfield group.
Of course. Yeah. We're
Tom's
learning
recruiting.
Yeah, that's the lifeblood of this camp, actually.
Yeah.
So when you're growing up, and even like as a young age, are you doing stuff like before camp, like after the camp day to like get the camp ready, or does that not start till later?
Yeah, growing up, I'd say I probably didn't start, like I would start helping out maybe when I was like Choctaw explorer age, and I'd start to like help out before camp. Grammy would be like, do you want to work, help out, I'll pay you. I'm like, yeah, of course. So like probably I would say like Choctaw age, I would start helping out, doing things around the yard and that kind of stuff. But
so really... do you guys like shape the bushes and stuff? Is that you?
Well, Gail did that for forever, and then probably I'd say about 10 years ago I took over doing all that stuff. So
yeah,
trim all those hedges, all the bushes, the dragon, everything.
Oh my gosh, that's
a lot of work.
Yeah, well, I saw that the dragon was like front and center on one of the brochures maybe a couple of years ago.
It was the title page, or the cover page rather.
Yeah, it was that was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, so she built, or she planted, actually you'll see it at the 50th party, but we have an old like aerial photograph from the camp. I don't know if I want to say it's like late 70s or early 80s. Mm-hmm. So she planted almost all those trees there. They were, on the aerial photo, you can see they're just little tiny, like 4-foot trees, and you can see them all now, but it's a really cool photo. But
come on,
she planted all those, she shaped them all in the shapes they are. And then and for the last, for 40 years, she trimmed them all herself, and then just had a couple guys help. And then now I just do them all myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So when she got the camp, was it Sherwood Forest, right? That's what it was called before.
Yep.
So did she just kind of keep it kind of as is, or like, it sounds like she added like a bunch of stuff to
No, she definitely added a bunch of stuff, but so she actually went to Disney World to check out because they had all the trees that were in these like crazy shapes of like the entrance of Disney World. So she flew down there to check out the trees and see how they did it. And then came to find out that they actually weren't real trees. They were fake. They just looked real. But she went down there anyway just to find that out. But then I don't know if you remember the big teddy bear that was by the behind where the flagpole was.
Yep.
I mean, it probably died 10, 15 years ago, but I guess she somehow built that thing into a massive pine teddy bear. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like Disney was like, you can't do this naturally. Like, we'll just get it. And Gail's like,
yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea about that, man. So when you're like, I guess like throughout, like during the whole off season, like, because you lived in Franklin, like they're in Franklin, obviously, right. Like, is it just camp all the time, or is there like a lull at some point?
Yeah. As soon as camp ends, like she usually hires, like we used to hire like maybe 4 guys, and I would started doing it probably when I was like, I don't know, 16. we just take, everything comes down to one day. You wouldn't believe, like, if you go to camp on the Sunday after camp ends, it looks like nothing happened there. It's just dead brown grass and there's no tents, nothing left, no sign of camp at all.
Wow.
But and then there's always like projects and stuff we're doing up until, I want to say, like end of September, and then there's like, that's when the lull begins. I'd say like October, November, and then up right up about till Christmas is the lull, and then gets fired back up for registration.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this year probably going to be a little bit going on in September, I would imagine, though.
It might be a little bit different.
What day is the wedding?
It's September 17th.
All right. Oh my God.
That's gonna be awesome.
You have a bunch of camp people going?
Oh yeah, there's a good amount, good chunk. Got all the Cowells, the Giddings, Scott Howe, Ty.
Nice.
Freddie. So there's a good chunk of them.
They're going to be like, congratulations, we're taking all of this in.
Yeah, right.
Good for you, I guess.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, so usually like after camp too, I'm like, took me, from January to do all the registration right up until March. So that really slows down, and then just nonstop getting the grounds ready. And then it's the 6 weeks of camp. So after that, usually after camp, I'm like, all right, I need a quick break. I need to get out of here for a few weeks. But like this year, it's not gonna be like that. It'll be there every day doing stuff in the yard, get that water, that grass back green again. It's hurting right now with the lack of rainfall.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's brutal, and this heat's not helping any either.
No, I wouldn't imagine. I definitely remember years though when it was like super dry like this, and it's just like, hey, like there's just like nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, we're almost 2 weeks in now and I haven't mowed the lawn yet. It's just like, it's not growing anymore.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, what would you rather have though? Like the extreme heat or rain?
I said the extreme heat. We had the complete opposite last year. I don't know if you remember, but we had archery. I had to go out and buy like 3/4 inch plywood, cut like strips so kids could walk into archery because it was just so muddy. And then the kids were shooting off pallets with plywood on top because they couldn't stand there anymore.
Oh my God.
It was like 6 inches of mud, and then all the so that whole area, that's like 2 groups eat lunch too, and just so muddy and wet that it just like kind of had this stench going down there. And just like just down there, and Sam's like, is there like some kind of like sewage line or something down here? Like, I don't know. I'm like, no, it's just really wet. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. He's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm positive.
Just hanging up like Febreze cleaners. Like, does it help?
Like, I asked Tom, he's like, going back, do you ever remember this? Something like this? Because like couldn't use the games field. We had to take pallets to get out into the woods because there was a good 6 inches of water running on the other side of the bridge.
Oh my God.
We'll definitely take the heat.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. At least there's no in between.
Right.
We're in the middle of it looks like it's going to be like 7 or 8 days when it's all told, and then it's going to come down to like 88.
Yeah, I was just looking around like, oh, at least next week's going to be high 80s. It's going to be awesome.
It will feel really good, but
it'll feel awesome.
Yeah. No, that pool is going to feel awesome. That's it. You hop in.
First year we haven't had too many complaints about the water in the morning.
No, absolutely. Like first swim lessons, I'll take it. Were you psyched to work there, or is there something that like the gloss kind of is off a little, just like, well, I know I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So I don't know, I grew up there, obviously I'll start from the beginning a little bit, but I wasn't maybe the best behaved at camp.
Yeah.
I feel like some counselors probably didn't want me in their group, their tribe, because kind of always up to mischief and getting in trouble. Like Tom used to see me frequently, but like I like see him a good amount in the office. I don't know if anybody ever knew that. Gail really never knew it until later in life, because he just like, Gail's like, oh, how's Billy doing? Oh, everything's great, he's doing awesome. Like, he's just been in here twice today.
You get sent to Tom?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Who would send you to Tom? I'd be like, I don't know.
Tom was always, I would send, or Tom would like catch me doing something. Other people would be scared. So I'd be like, we need to talk. Or like someone would tell him maybe, and he'd bring me in.
Yeah.
I think maybe the counselors might have been a little bit afraid to send me there, but no.
Yeah.
I was there a few times. I guess probably I kind of felt like I could do whatever I want. I felt like I owned the place, which I sort of kind of could.
And now you do. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So then like, I guess as like a CI, I was excited to be a CIT, but I obviously knew I was going to be a CIT. There was no like doubt in my mind. So I was like, It's not like for other kids where they're probably like all winter, like, please pick me. And I'm just like, I knew I was going to be one. It's still a little exciting, but I also had like the kind of like the too cool for camp aide, like little spout, probably like second year CIT assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took 1 year off. I actually didn't work at camp. I forget. I was like to have like a job, like I was like working for like a roofer. I think I was like
Really?
18, 17 or 18, I think. Yeah, I was like just that too. I was like, I don't really care. I don't really want to do this. I wasn't that into it then. It was weird. You think I wasn't always this into camp, but and then just and then so I took the year off and I was like, no, I want to go back. So I just obviously come back and I think was I assistant? Was that years? I might have had like 1 more year as an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And then got to be a head counselor, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then started to get back in like the camp, like, wow, this place is amazing. This is like such a special place. It's amazing. Like, I guess, I had those couple of years where I wasn't out about it, but then, kind of came back and I was like, oh, this place is special. There's nothing like it, So I never looked back from there.
It's interesting you say that because I know I was gone at that point, just whenever you weren't there, but I'm still in touch with Cat Netting. And when you came back, I'm not sure if it's the first year you came back or whatever year it was, but she was like, Billy's the best counselor we have. She's like, he has done like crazy turnaround, is like all in. He's awesome. And I was like, get out of town. And she's like, yeah. And then like, it was like, and I brought it up to her on the pod. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But like, I remember saying that. And then it was like, then you were ahead and then I like started hearing that you were like taking on more and more. I was like, I was like, he's in, like, he really gets it.
It went from like, then I was ahead when I started in pioneering, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. My first tribe was as a head counselor with Trisha Giddings, Katie DiBiasio, Shay Mitchell. They were all my first campers when I was a head counselor. It was super cool. Like now like Shay's one of my camp friends. I like hang out outside out of camp. It's like, hey, you're my first camper.
Yep.
now we're at the bar together. So funny. And then
that's great.
I did pioneering for a couple of years, and then like my second year I had Freddie as my camper, who now we're like really good friends, which is too funny.
Oh my god.
His mother I think he told you that his mother used to hate me. Like come home telling Billy stories like, what is this kid doing with you guys at camp?
Don't worry about it. He's made a turnaround.
So then where'd I go? And then I switched it up to, I think that's like one of last year's Sue did woodworking. So I was like, I guess I'll take a woodworking over.
Oh yeah.
Did that for a couple of years. I'd never do that again. What a nightmare.
What was tough about woodworking?
Just like one that I'm just a terrible artist. So you're doing like all those 3D animals. You got to like draw things. I'd be like calling mom, like, so you got to come in here for like the explorers. You need to draw all these. I can't draw like, takes me an hour to draw one 3D thing for them to cut. I got 15 kids sitting here waiting to start projects. just like that was that aspect of it. It's like constant drawing and I don't know. In that wood shop. Wasn't a huge fan of it. But like Cam's in there now. He does an awesome job. He seems to love it. But he just cranks his tunes and just goes. But it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Well, plus you can like see the pool through the door and you're just like, oh, there's the rest of camp. What's going on out there?
I'm just stuck in that barn all day.
Yep.
Right. And then I moved to boating, I think, which was awesome. I loved boating.
Yeah.
And then I went up to the pool. For a couple of years. I was like working on with Kelly as like pool directors, and then that was it. Then I decided maybe I'll just run the place instead.
Yeah. Is it so? How long have you been doing like that? How long since you've been a lifeguard? Has it been a couple of years?
So I actually worked was it last year? I was a lifeguard last year.
Oh, okay.
I was like the co-pool director with Kelly last year, which was fine, but probably wasn't the best for her because I was absolutely never there. There was just so much other stuff going on. That's why I was like, can't do this again. But like last year was kind of last year, I'd say was the first year I was actually like doing behind the scenes things, like running it, talking with all the parents, dealing with all that. So as I'm trying to like teach lessons and things, there was just like so many fires. And last year was like, I mean, a great year for everyone. No one really noticed probably everything. Like I talked to Ty, but he's like, I had no idea. Everything seemed so great. Everything was awesome. But like behind the scenes, it was just like Sam and I were just like putting out fires left and right, and just like it was stressful. I was like, this isn't that fun.
Right.
Like, it was so much fun, like at camp, seeing everybody and like seeing how it didn't affect any of the kids. The kids are still having the best time of their lives, but like we were really stressed out. It was a hard year, and like